playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, some cloud cover this give way to sunshine later this afternoon. We'll see a high around 90. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low around 66. And tomorrow, we'll see sunshine. It'll be breezy and hot with a high around 97. Meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 3.7 The Ticket and The Ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and electrical.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then.
What's up, Coda?
The Mill on 11th, located right
is what?
93.7 The Ticket Studios.
Yes.
Sandhills Global is hiring with their they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Adam Carriker on The Ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, in to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. I apologize for that hot mic moment just a few moments ago, but that's all right. We're going to have a fun show today, as always, on Tuesdays throughout the summer. I am joined by the face that runs the place, DP, Mr. Derrick Pearson. But before we debate the greatest talkers of all time. I wanted to revisit that conversation because it was so brief a couple of weeks ago. And I've actually taken the time to do just a smidge of recon. Okay, just a smidge. Not a lot, not a medium, just a smidge. I don't need to do a whole lot because I've watched this stuff for years and it's a whole lot of fun. But before we do that, all right, I want to give a shout out to Bonzel Pool and Spa. Now, as we speak, I guess technically it's not 12:15 yet, but when it's 12:15 at that point, when we're speaking at that point, Jeff Bonzel will be out at our house talking with my wife, and they will be planning out exactly where the pool is going to go. Yes, they are indeed the people putting in my own family's pool, so I highly recommend them. Check them out at bonzelpool.com. Swimming pools, hot tubs, saunas, they've got them. You want them, come get them from them. If you've got them and they need to be taken care of, bonzelpool.com. Also, our hot tub, we just started using it a couple mornings ago. Lifted up the lid, just gunk and crap everywhere. Don't really know why, but I texted them. Within 24 hours, they were out. Problem solved. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bonzelpool.com, but I want to bring on DP now. All right, DP, the greatest talkers in pro wrestling, not just WWE, pro wrestling history. Okay, and I actually looked it up, and WWE's list is, of course, the list that pops up first. And I kind of want to go down their list starting at number 16 because that's where CM Punk is, and kind of analyze their list and then kind of maybe give our top 10. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Let's get it.
All right, dude. So number 16 is CM Punk. What are your thoughts on CM Punk being 16? Should he be lower? Should he be higher? Is this a good spot for him?
Well, CM Punk had a moment. He has one of the top 10 hot mic moments. I'm not sure that his long game puts him above where he is, because there are people who did weekly better work than CM Punk. I think his skill is top 10, but I'm just not sure beyond the truth bomb moment that he's done enough. My issue with him, Adam, is that he hasn't maintained the standard beyond truth bomb. Like he left and went to UFC, which muted him. And then he came back on the Outliers and got active, but didn't blow it all up. And then the injury, and it's not his fault, but the injury also took some of that away. So, yeah, top 20, absolutely. I would have put him a little higher, but not much.
So I've got him, and I got to look at my list again. I made it a day or so ago. I think I've got him around 10, but it's funny. I have the same compliment and /or issues as you do. Same exact thing, okay? The pipe bomb and Austin 316 are, to me, the two greatest single promos in history. It launched Austin, or just sped up the process of him being launched into another stratosphere, which was probably going to happen anyways. No disrespect, CM Punk's success has far exceeded mine, but he was a skinny fat guy with bad Pepsi tattoos until he did the pipe bomb. Yep. And then he became launched into the stratosphere. I still remember we were renting a house at that point in time, and I still remember watching that. And Raw goes off the air, and I looked at my wife, who couldn't possibly care less about pro wrestling, and I said, I don't think that was supposed to happen like that. And I got uber interested in pro wrestling beyond just, I'm going to watch because I've been a lifelong fan. And it launched him into another stratosphere. But beyond the, where are my ice cream bars? Okay, because he wanted his face on the intro to the show, and he's just a spoke on a wheel, and he knows that, and he's not as good as John Cena and Hulk Hogan at kissing Vince McMahon's rear, and everything that he said. Beyond that, he does a good job, but it's not consistently great. And if he's not angry, to me, a great promo is someone who can do it as a face, as a heel. They can do it in various different ways. And to me, if he's not angry and complaining about something, I think he struggles. If in that realm, I don't know if there's anybody better, though.
Yeah, I mean, in the angry talkers certainly have a place. I always thought that Chris Jericho was better angry. I thought heel Jericho gave better mic than face Jericho. I think that's true for a lot. Heel Ted DiBiase really kind of game changed. Like, it was game changing how good DiBiase was when he was a heel. And then he's still in the top 5, but Stone Cold, heel Stone Cold, is top 2. I just think that's a thing, right? Some people are better when there's venom in what they say.
I've never liked Jericho as a face. I've always liked him as a heel, but he's going to come up here shortly in just a minute. So number 15, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not as well versed with Arn Anderson. Okay, I started watching wrestling when he was a little bit on the downswing, so maybe this will be maybe you'll be more familiar with more of his promos than I will, but Arn Anderson is who they have at 15. What are your thoughts on Arn at 15?
Well, Adam, I am an Arn Anderson super fan.
Okay.
Arn, that the greatest faction to ever exist in the Four Horsemen. It wasn't Flair who carried the microphone for the Horsemen. It wasn't. It was Arn. And like jokingly, so he and I, when I see him, I call him Arnold because I know that it irritates him, and it's the facial expression that he has. But Arn Anderson was the greatest truth teller in wrestling history. He would just cut to the chase. Listen, don't let all the fanciness fool you. I like my hamburgers, I like my beer, and I like my women. It doesn't mean that I won't kick your tail because I don't look like a bike. Get him, Arn. Get him.
Yep.
Like, hey, mister, you're sitting in the front row, which means you've got money. But it tells me you're not smart enough, because the real thing would be pay me, I'll keep your lady happy, and you'll get in the front row. Like, those are
Yep, that's great.
Yeah, Arn was the straight. If a spine buster was a microphone talker, it's Arn Anderson. It's perfect.
So I do have memories of the Four Horsemen. I do have, actually, Arn was my favorite Four Horsemen, and the Arn Anderson spine buster to this day still got that name. He was the guy that I always liked the most. Okay, I absolutely think Flair is, on the Mount Rushmore of all-time greatest wrestlers, but for me as a personal favorite, he was not top 10 for me. I always liked Arn Anderson in the Four Horsemen more than I liked Flair. Maybe I just related to him a little bit more, whatever the case may be. Okay, number 14, superstar Billy Graham. He was the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. He was superstar Billy Graham. Dude, his tongue, and I had to go back and look these up, but his tongue-twisting tirades he delivered as WWF champion, but they wrote it down as WWE champion in New York's Madison Square Garden. Like, if you think of the summer, the late 70s, 1977, okay, like he was cutting better promos than anybody was back then, except for maybe Ric Flair. I don't know if Flair was quite doing his thing yet, but I think he was at the top of his game at that time.
So superstar Billy Graham is the most underrated, under-talked about superstar in wrestling.
I agree.
First, from a bodybuilding standpoint, okay, so everybody after Billy Graham owes Billy Graham money. They owe him money. Flair owes him money. Hulk Hogan owes him money. They all owe him money because Billy Graham was the first cool white guy. He was the first cool where he talked in a rhythm that was different. Like, he had a little bit of a preacher's son and a pimp in his mic game.
Yep. Yep. That's a great description.
And he would give it to you. And he looked the part. Listen, this dude came in the ring with tie-dye tights on. And my favorite rivalry of all time is go back to the 70s and find Dusty Rhodes versus Billy Graham. And them in Madison Square Garden. There are 2 clips of them in Madison Square Garden. And they were the 2 coolest white dudes. Look, I was a black kid from Virginia. I hadn't seen cool white dudes like this. And he and Dusty put it down, man.
Mm-hmm.
They put it down. And he said, listen to me, he took some of Muhammad Ali's poetry. He took some of his rhythm and his flow. And it didn't matter whether he had the long golden locks or if he shaved it all off and went with the bald hair. But he went out, he found the Schmedium t-shirt and he put it on. And he put them pythons out there, and then he just sat and talked to you. Like he talked, and officially the greatest goatee in wrestling history.
I'm with you, and I just looked at my list again. I actually have superstar Billy Graham at 10. I thought I had CM Punk. I don't. I had superstar Billy Graham. I agree with you. He's just before a lot of people's time.
Yeah, but
he
that's
is,
why we're here.
I think when it comes to promos, he's got to be the most underrated in history, just due to when he was doing it. A lot of people just haven't seen a lot of his clips.
Yeah.
All right. So according to WWE, the 13th greatest talker of all time is Vince McMahon. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've got him in my top 10. And I think if you were to say who's the single greatest heel in history, I think you've got the greatest white hot baby face at that time in Stone Cold. But part of what made Stone Cold so great was his adversary is the greatest heel in history. Now, when you're the boss and you're genuinely the boss, people can genuinely hate you, and it makes that easier. But I think McMahon just had a genuine arrogance, had a genuine. I mean, you can find me for this. He was a dickhead. He just was.
He was.
And it was real. But then he put the showmanship. He walked down there like he was stomping and killing ants, and he had this whole deal going on like he was a showman on top of the real thing, and it just meshed beautifully. But I think what he could do on the mic was really good, and just all came together.
Yeah, he changed every part of wrestling. He touched every part. And on the microphone, people forget that he was the voice of the WWE, WWF. He was the voice. So his call on some of the great moments in wrestling have to be evaluated in this. He gets higher on my list just for that very reason, that as the voice of so many great matches, he was the introduction to so many great wrestlers that we didn't know who Sterling Golden was before he was the Incredible Hulk Hogan. And Vince set the table. Vince was the one that jazzed up and said, look at Dusty Rhodes getting down and getting funky. And I just thought, that's hilarious coming from Vincent Kennedy McMahon. But it was necessary. So you're right. Top 10 for Vince McMahon. But here's the thing. You could literally put anybody in the top 30 in the top 10. So you're not wrong.
Yeah. We're talking like we're splitting hairs with some of these people. And again, this is WWE's list, and then we'll give our own. And I hadn't even thought about. He was the announcer for a long time before he let people know he was the boss. I didn't even incorporate that in. That's a great point. All right. Number 12, and I kind of I'll talk about Cena more. I think he was a little bit, I don't want to say victim, but he was a little bit of the victim of get the F out, going to the PG era, and he's the company guy who was doing what he was told. They have him at number 12. I have him top 10 because anytime he would just get real. He would be getting booed. He was getting booed out of arenas before Roman Reigns even thought about getting booed out of arenas, before Roman Reigns became what he is today. Yeah. And Cena would take that crowd, put him in the palm of his hand, and by the end, they'd be cheering while he's standing there looking like a bowl full of Fruity Pebbles. The Rock was right when he said that. Yet Cena, he had no problem being booed. He has such confidence, such security in himself that he would stand there looking like a Fruity Pebble, getting booed out of the place, not really doing what I think he wanted to do, but doing what the company asked him to do. Yet he, time and time again, in this awful gimmick that he was asked to do because they were doing the whole F out thing, get the F out and all that, he would turn the audience and they would be cheering him by the end. And then anytime he got real with another wrestler, I've yet to see him ever lose a battle of words one-on-one, whether it's CM Punk, whether it's The Rock, who was not on top of his game at the time. I've never seen him lose a battle of words or a battle of wits on the mic with someone one-on-one in the ring. Have you?
No, he really hasn't. Destroyed CM Punk, destroyed Triple H, destroyed Roman Reigns, literally went through whoever it was. He and Stone Cold. I can think of two opportunities where they were in the ring together. And to make it, he was so good that he had, and I'm not sure there's anybody else in wrestling history that had both sides of the spectrum, the extremes of the spectrum, that he was booed and cheered at the same max volume by both ends of the spectrum. That's how good he was on the microphone. John Cena could get anybody and like, listen, let's go Cena. Cena sucks.
Yep, exactly.
It's there. That's why he's John Cena. That's why he's in the conversation. And one day we'll have the Mount Rushmore conversation about what wrestlers deserve to be on that Mount Rushmore, because that Cena conversation is as good a conversation as you can have.
He was. So I call you're the guy who owns the ticket. So I call you the face that runs the place. But John Cena, that's where I got it from. He was the face that ran the place, or the franchise, or whatever he was being called at that time.
Yep.
No, it was so funny. I remember those chants. It'd be the men, or it'd be the women and the children. Let's go Cena. Then the men. Cena sucks, and it'd just be going back and forth. It was hilarious.
So good.
And then it was interesting because there'd be another person in the ring with him. It didn't really matter, with rare exceptions, The Rock or whoever. And they'd be chanting that. And it was almost like they were supporting the other person, but you're really chanting about Cena. So whether you know it or not, even if you're saying Cena sucks, you're really supporting Cena, not the other person he's battling on the mic, because you're chanting about Cena, not whoever the adversary is.
It never mattered who his opponent was. And listen, there's maybe 4 wrestlers in the history of wrestling that you can say that about. That it never mattered who they were wrestling. It never mattered. Like, he had all of his rivalries, but when he started talking, just go ahead and slide from under the bottom rope, take a seat next to JR, because it didn't matter. You were just potatoes. You were never steak.
So you said there's 4 guys. All right, so Cena's one of them, maybe 4. Who are some of the other guys that it just didn't matter in your mind?
Well, Hogan, as much as we give Hogan flack, but when Hogan went into the ring, it only made a statement about how badass Hogan was. Like, I mean, you can think of any rivalry, and it doesn't matter. When Hogan got in there, let me tell you something, brother. We're in. Like, you won. That's just do that. Do that. It didn't matter. Like, hey, Andre, chill. Like, I'm sorry, my bad. Ultimate Warrior. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. Flair, listen, when Flair's music hit and he walked out in that robe and the glare and that Space Odyssey 2000, it didn't matter who was in the ring. It didn't matter. And the other is the only one that you could put in that space, that Cena is so good that we measure him by his time face-to-face with the GOAT. And that was The Rock. Because when every great wrestler in the Hall of Fame that stood in the ring when that broken, if you smell, boy, look, Stone Cold's maybe number 5, but that's the real range. Because when the broken glass of Stone Cold hit, everybody reacted. Like, you reacted, and it was never like, oh, here comes this dude.
Yep.
So that's the magic ones for me.
So the ones that popped into my head immediately were Rock Austin. Okay. When I was trying to think of other people, Flair is a good one. The Undertaker is the other person that popped into my head. Now there's other people you could put out there, but that's who just popped into my head. All right. We are going to continue our countdown, our debate, our chat about the greatest talkers in the history of pro wrestling, not just WWE, but we got to take a break, pay some bills. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Summer is here, and it's time for Acres postseason planter parts sale. Save big on all in-stock John Deere planter parts. Get an automatic 10% off on your purchase, or get 15% off when you spend $5,000 or more. Buy over $10,000 and get a whopping 20% off. Visit your local Acres location today and stock up on planter parts and save thousands. Hurry, this sale ends July 31st or while supplies last. Acres, solutions for every field.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, Go Big Red.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Time for a new AC? Call Bryant. Get rebates now and lower operating costs every day. For comfort and efficiency, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados, plus Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now on Louisville, $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, some cloud cover this morning. We'll give way to sunshine later this afternoon. We'll see a high around 90. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low around 66. And tomorrow, we'll see sunshine. It'll be breezy and hot with a high around 97. I'm meteorologist Kyle Quick for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay. Playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Play ball!
Summertime is here, and so is another action-packed baseball season with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bring your whole crew to Haymarket Park to experience the magic under the lights and the thrill of the game. Enjoy daily specials like Wiener Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, and Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts. Don't miss out on the excitement.
Strike three, you're out!
Visit saltdogs.com to see this week's promotions and secure your tickets to unleash the fun.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on the Ticket. All right, real quick before we dive back into our discussion on the greatest talkers in the history of pro wrestling. All right, as always, check out The Ticket, theticket.com. Check them out on Facebook, Twitter, TV, radio, everywhere. They're taking over, ladies and gentlemen. It's the place to be. Also, Carriker Chronicles will be back August 1st, okay? And revamping the website, doing a lot of cool things. But you can always check out Carriker Chronicles on the Tube of You and or CarrikerChronicles.com. All right, final thoughts on John Cena, DP, and then we'll go to number 11. I think one thing, so John Cena's, era of being the face of the place was one of my least favorite ever, but I think it was because of the PG era. I don't really blame him. Unlike Triple H's era where he was the champ, I didn't like that era either. There's about a 20-year era where I just watch wrestling out of loyalty more so than enjoying the product. Goldberg was there for a year, and that was really about the only year that I enjoyed where Triple H was the guy on top. But Cena, what impresses me about him also, he can cut a promo as a heel. He can cut a promo as a face, on top of which we discussed a week or two ago, he can rap and he's really freaking good at it. He's not just some guy who pre-wrote the lines, can go out there and deliver it, and he's good in that particular box, but that's it. To me, he may be one of the most versatile guys on the mic ever.
Yeah, it was one victim of the era. There was also the crossover of NWO and WCW and what that was trying to be. The extreme days of wrestling, I didn't buy into. I never bought into. And it was a thing. Like I felt bad that I didn't care about the hardcore stuff. And then there was Cena. And Cena was trying to figure out who he was. Look, the Doctor of Thugonomics is one of my top 10 characters ever.
Yep.
Ever. Because it just spoke to me. And I knew that it wouldn't speak to a lot of the country. But for me, the throwback jersey, like that's my jam. The hip hop version of it, that was my jam. So, yeah, I wasn't as much anti-Cena. I just didn't know. They were, after Benoit and Eddie, there had to be a vacuum. There had to be a hole in the vacuum, Adam. That had to be a thing. What do you do? What do you do? Like, you were trying to build a superstar out of Rob Van Dam because he got people to chant. Young Randy Orton would have been the thing if they were smart enough to just ride with it. But then you created a rivalry with Triple H that ran longer, which then did harm to Edge and Jeff Hardy because they never got the full run. So, yeah, Cena was victim to the time. I just thought that they could have given him the Bruno run, the Ric Flair run, rather than piecing up all of his runs.
No, I completely agree. I will say this. So when I go on YouTube, all right, and I'm looking up clips, I love whenever Kurt Angle went toe-to-toe with Cena. Not because Kurt's like phenomenal on the mic, but he would just embrace the over-the-top, ridiculous white boy gimmick and try to imitate Cena and just mocking him. And it was hilarious to me.
Good.
It was hilarious. All right, number 11. Oh, did you have another thought on that?
No, go ahead.
All right, number 11, we got Jake. This was one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers as a kid. Okay, Warrior. Oh, man, Hogan or Jake the Snake Roberts was tied for 2 or 3. Probably Hogan 2, Jake the Snake Roberts 3. But at number 11, we got Jake the Snake Roberts. What are your thoughts on Jake the Snake?
I love Jake on the mic. His vignettes were amazing because he did, like, there's no Jake there's no recently passed. We're here. Bray Wyatt. There's no Bray Wyatt without Jake the Snake. He was the great compliment to The Undertaker in that they were able to create the persona. The performer, he's an underrated wrestler. But the idea that when Jake started talking, everybody buckled up. You buckled up. It's like, I have no idea where we're going. I have no idea where this is going to end up. He would take you to church. Didn't matter if it was Baptist church, Presbyterian church. Jake was he was going to find your church and he was going to speak your gospel to him, and it always worked. It always worked.
I like people with unique styles. Okay, I like people. That's one reason I like the John Cena rap gimmick. It's just unique and different. Okay. When you think about Jake, he could easily be in the top 10 talkers list of all time. They got him number 11 here. Okay. But he didn't have to be. He's not me. I move a lot with my hands and my voice goes up and down. That just comes out of me. It's just what happens when I start talking and I get excited with a mic in front of my face. Jake he didn't have to raise his voice. He would just kind of speak into the mic and he would draw you in. Okay. He didn't have to get angry. He didn't have to do a lot of the things that naturally I do or some other people do. It's interesting because Jake would reference things that were known and subliminally kind of create this image that what he had said was credible because it had somehow been heard before, but not so obvious that people knew exactly where they heard it. So something like, don't you know, never to trust a snake. I was almost like getting one of those Aesop fables back in the day. I don't know. He had such a unique style. I hope what I said just made some sort of sense.
It does.
He had such a unique style, and I just loved it.
He never had to elevate. Like he started at 7 and it was perfect, and he ended at 7, and the rhythm of it. He understood the camera. Mm-hmm. The mic and the camera were attached for him. That wasn't always the case. And not a lot of wrestlers would have done well in the WWE vignette sort of segment. Like now they do that in the ring. I'm saddened a little bit that they don't do this. Like AEW is really good about allowing Tony Storm to do the vignette in front of a backdrop, face to face with an announcer, instead of speaking to 20,000 people. He would speak to 2 million people rather than 20,000 people.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes perfect sense. And I think I don't have a whole lot of fears in this world. But like snakes would be one of the two things that I am just, it's just not me, man. Like it's just not me. And the fact that he had a freaking cobra with him and it'd be in the ring and it'd be in the bag. And then just the way he would carry himself and the way he would just kind of draw you in without having to get very loud. I think that's why he was one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. And I know him and Hogan kind of started a potential rivalry and feud. And there's a whole bunch of rumors that Hogan squashed it or whatever. I don't know what's true or not, but it's a shame that the fans never got to see a true feud between Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake back in the day. All right.
Right. Dead on, man.
Yeah. At number 10, we got the man of 1,004 holds, Mr. Chris Jericho. All right. What are your thoughts on Mr. Jericho?
Okay. He's too high. He's too high. Look, I love the guy. But if you ask 99% of wrestling fans to mimic Chris Jericho, they're going to say, you made the list, which is the least.
I love that.
Right. Like it's the least thing. You did the less with the most mic time. That was the thing that you could, like his gimmicks. I get it, but he just missed. And I don't know, like the whole Fozzy thing. I don't understand. I don't understand. I love his entrance. I love him as a wrestler. I still hate his lips. I hate his lips. His boots still make me mad. Like I can't watch a Jericho match without looking at his boots. Like I want to know, bruh, you're 3 inches shorter. It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody won the height lottery, bruh. Stop faking it with me.
That's funny.
It bothers me. I love him face to face, but 10? No.
I tend to agree. When I saw him at 10, I was genuinely surprised. I was surprised for a couple of reasons. I think one is, and I don't know when this list was actually made. I got to imagine it was the top one I saw was WWE, so I just clicked on it. I mean, there's like 15 other lists I could have looked at. So maybe this is not completely up to date, but he's originally a WCW guy, you know, kind of more of that cruiserweight type. And then he's now in AEW. So I just figured he'd be punished for all those reasons, but who knows? Maybe this list is more than 5 years old. I should go back and check during commercial break. I would probably flip him with a few people. I do think he's unique. He's creative. He finds ways to reinvent himself. You got the Ocho, you got the Lionheart, you got all these different variations, you know, that he's done over the years. So he's very good at reinventing himself. He's able to do it on the mic. I got to be honest, when he first started in AEW, and I mean, if you're a pro wrestler, you know, you should be in decent shape. You should look like you're in decent shape. If you're a football player, you should be in freaking shape. So I don't feel bad saying this. And he's in his mid-50s, so I take that into account. But I was stunned at how not great he looked, yet he was insanely over. Okay, so for me, I personally couldn't get over, man, how is nobody pointing out how bad he looks? And then some NBA fans one night the AEW like year 2 led right into an NBA playoff game, and all the NBA fans had him trending for that very reason. And it wasn't like I was like, finally, somebody pointed it out, because that's not very nice. But I was like, oh, I'm not the only one to actually notice this. As far as his mic skills, I think he's done really good. I think he really invents himself. I think he's, like I mentioned earlier, much better as a heel than a face. It just fits more naturally with him. I agree with you on the whole Fozzy thing. Whenever Fozzy would come on Raw back in the day, which wasn't a ton, I would definitely turn the channel. One thing that makes me a Chris Jericho fan is he genuinely will not take crap from anybody. Like he got in a real fight with Goldberg backstage. He went toe to toe, albeit, you know, turned himself into a little bit of a mark after Lesnar did what he did to Orton at SummerSlam 7-8 years ago. He got in Lesnar's face. I can respect that. I got nothing but love and respect, because those are two big dudes right there, and he had no problem. He was not going to back down.
Yeah, I'm a member of. Nothing takes me down the rabbit hole like behind the scenes locker room fights in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you want to occupy me for 2 hours and distract me? Send me a clip of somebody talking about fights in the locker room, and I'm all in. I don't think I've spent more time on any story in wrestling more than the Bruiser Brody stories. And I just get lost. So I appreciate guys who behind the scenes are about that life. Jericho is one of those guys. But I just think when it comes to the microphone, he gets too much credit for silliness. Like that was kind of my land.
No, I got you. Hey, one quick question. I think it's called Beyond the Mat, where they were following Bret Hart around, and so they shut the cameras off when Bret goes and socks Vince, and then you just see Vince walking out of the locker room after it happens. We were robbed. We should have all been able to see that.
So good, and the fact that list is 10 years old.
Okay,
2014, and there are other lists, and they're all old. And quite frankly, I'm okay with old lists when it comes to this stuff, because I'm not sure that anybody currently doing it is in this conversation. So there's that part, which really makes me sad that nobody's stepping up into this elite category of space. So there's that.
So at some point, and this is probably going to bleed into next week, which I'm fine with, because I like going in depth on each one of these, so we don't have to rush. But at some point this week or next week, I was going to ask you, who would be your top 5 current guys on the mic? Okay, but maybe I'll bring that up next week at some point, because the only guy that really pops into my head right now that isn't going to be on this list as we go along this list, or we haven't already talked about, and I just don't know that he's done it long enough yet to be in the conversation for all time. He's not. He hasn't, not to be the all-time conversation. He hasn't done it long enough. But for today, I think he's definitely in the conversation, and that guy is MJF. What are your thoughts on him briefly?
Yeah, I mean, like today's microphone folks don't invest in it. Here's a measuring stick for you. Is there anybody in pro wrestling that makes you feel like Big Papa Pump just walked into the ring and grabbed the mic? Like Scotty Steiner, he can't be the standard bearer, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but Big Papa Pump, holla if you hear me. He's
Yep.
better than everybody with a microphone right now. There's nobody in that space. There's literally nobody that makes me go, that's it. Like it's Tony Storm and then everybody else.
That makes sense. I saw Scott Steiner on this list, and I was trying to see what number. Oh, they got him at number 50. That's way too low.
Because he spent a lot of his early time quiet.
That's true.
He was quiet. He didn't blow up as a tag team wrestler. I mean, he was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. The Steiners were there together, and it was mainly the Dogface Gremlin. Again, one of the great underrated nicknames in all of wrestling, the Dogface Gremlin. But just basically Steiner barking at people. And then like that was it.
Yep.
That was the thing. So we don't have anybody. Tony Storm is good. I don't know that there's anybody who, I mean, Edge is still the standard bearer for people who get in the ring now. There's nobody on WWE in any form who make me want, like they're trying to make Braun Breaker a talker. No, he's not his dad. Stop it. Like it's not, it doesn't move for me. That's all. I keep waiting for somebody to set it on fire. I think, unfortunately, it's going to come from the women. I think the women are going to take over Mike game.
Hey, if it comes from the women, that's cool with me. 2 quick thoughts, and then we got to go to a break. And just a little teaser so people come back after the break. Next up, number 9 on this list is Hulk Hogan. So we're going to chat about Hulk Hogan real quick. But 2 quick thoughts. Number 1, Scott Steiner. You make a good point. He was quiet for a long time, but he was so good when he did decide to talk, and he just didn't give an F. And he was great. 50 is way too freaking low on this list. And I do think you've actually got me to watch more Tony Storm. Some of her talking lately. You've gotten me to watch it more. She should be talked about more. I think it hurts her that she's on AEW and people kind of aren't high on AEW at the moment. But if she was in WWE, it'd be viewed way differently.
Oh, she'd be on every talk show. She'd be on every TV show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pay some bills. We're going to talk Hulk Hogan. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about versatility today. Unlike flowers that wither and die or chocolates that disappear in a heartbeat, jewelry is the solid move here, guys. Yes, she will cherish it, but more important than anything, she will brag about it and brag about you. And that's what it's all about. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The 31st Annual Testicle Festival, Saturday, June 15th at Round the Bend Steakhouse, just off I-80, exit 426. Swing out 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for live music, cold beer, and of course, nuts. Visit roundthebendsteakhouse.com for more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, some cloud cover this morning. We'll give way to sunshine later this afternoon. We'll see a high around 90. Tonight, mostly clear skies with an overnight low around 66. And tomorrow, we'll see sunshine. It'll be breezy and hot with a high around 97. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clark for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Without a strong IT partner, your business ends up overspending, underperforming, wearing too many hats, complicating your work, and more. Applied Connective Technologies can help with experts in every facet of technology. If it plugs in, powers on, or charges up, they're your people. Imagine being able to call one team for all your technology solutions rather than a village of vendors and providers. For all your needs in managed IT and cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, infrastructure, and audio or video, head to appliedconnective.com to better your business today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC. And right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Coppell. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados. Plus, Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now on Louisville. $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at CoppellCars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
I think the plan is to go bigger at corner. You got to have bigger corners in this league because you got these receivers. You got to deal with Ohio State receivers. And I'm not saying small corners can't get it done, but small corners have to be extraordinary, right? They got to jump higher. They got to do things that bigger corners might not necessarily have to do. So, I mean, losing Ethan Nation, it's kind of a blow, but when you got to get down in scholarships anyway, it's not, man. They got to have their best guys, man.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. All right, we're going to be talking about, in just a second here, probably the most recognizable pro wrestler in history. When you go across all ages, you go across planet Earth, probably the most recognizable face in the history of pro wrestling. And we can debate that, but it's Hulk Hogan. But before we get into that, we were talking about modern day talkers, okay? And two things stood out to me while I was thinking about this during the break. Number one, The Rock walks back in, and he may have immediately been the best talker in all of pro wrestling immediately. Now, he's one of the top 5, 3, 2, maybe greatest talker of all time. But for him to just walk back in and hardly anybody can touch him. And I know Cody Rhodes actually did an admirable job. He did much better than I thought he would. I don't know. We need more people modern day to step up. But there is one person, we're talking about modern day talkers, that we've not brought up, and he's coming up on this list. We'll probably talk about him next week. But modern day is Paul Heyman. When Reigns and The Rock eventually have their feud, there needs to be some days when Reigns ain't there, and it's Paul and it's The Rock in the ring going toe-to-toe on the mic. What do you think, DP?
Okay, so on this list as well, like Bobby Heenan's on it. There's some talkers who are on it. So the managers need their own list, first of all. So if you're a mouth, Jimmy the Mouse, like if you're a mouth, different list. Heyman needs to be on a different list because he's just attacking. He's a scavenger. Like he's a hyena. He just gets to pick on the carcass of people that can't really attack him and don't really have leverage with him. So there's that. But on the side of great talkers, right? Great talkers. I think a big thing that's in play with Hogan and The Rock and Stone Cold was that's who they are. That's who they are. They've been that. The character side of it is, of course, is amplified, but it's not outside of their person. And authenticity matters. It matters that if you're that guy, again, for older wrestlers who had to carry it, Bach and I were just talking about it, they had to carry this thing outside of kayfabe into small towns all over the country, hotels, restaurants, car dealerships, etc. And so that's the difference maker for the top five. They're all the people who took who they are and they amplified it and juiced it up. And it's authentic. It's real. It's real. And real matters when it comes to verbal battles and talking trash. I think Adam said he's muted. Let's see if we get him, or did we lose him? Oh, yeah, he had a thing that he needed to do. Okay, well, there's that. Yeah, I think a big part of this, Bach, and you can join in. I showed you, and I should have showed it to Adam. I should have sent it to him. Was the clip of the rivalry between Dusty Rhodes and superstar Billy Graham. And we don't have anything like that. Like, we don't have anything like that. Oh, his cord came undone. Looks like he unplugged his cord. Let's see if you can try him again there, Bach. He's up. Okay. Well, here's the deal. We know that next week we're going to pick up on the conversation. We'll leave it here at 8. It's the top of the hour. So, Bach, that'll be it for Carriker. We'll get him straight. Go ahead and play the outro, and we'll get the happy hour coming up here on the ticket. For Adam Carriker, for Bach, I'm DP. We'll talk to you in a few hours.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no